What's up, y'all? Talon here, taking on the Pokemon Showdown ladder today, featuring top teams in the Regulation G metagame. Today we're using a team piloted to top 8 in the Stockholm Regional Championship by Frederik Nielsen, a pretty solid new player. I know his brother got top 8 at the World Championship this year, and he has also had a lot of scattered really solid success. So he built a very interesting team. I'll have his Twitter account linked in the description below, along with a Pokepaste for the EVs on this team, if you want to try it on the Pokemon Showdown ladder yourself now that it is back up. But yeah, it's really interesting. It has a Choice Specs or a Choice Scarf Ground Chi-Yu and a Tera Electric Choice Specs Miraidon, along with some familiar components to the Miraidon core of URsaluna Blood Moon, Farigiraf, and then in place of the Whimsicott, we have a Tornadus. So a lot of advantages for the Torn here. Hits a little bit harder. I think Bleak Wind hitting into the grass types that want to terrestrialize in front of the electric type moves of the Miraidon can be nice, being able to Bleak Wind those, as well as hitting Rillaboom on switch in. As the most common switch into the Miraidon, you want to be able to hit that pretty hard so that you can go Volt Switch, Bleak Wind, and then knock it out later in the game with another Volt Switch if you want to, or just another stray attack. The final Pokemon on the team is the Iron Hands with a clear amulet instead of the Assault Vest. This is just basically to make it a very hard counter to Incineroar, especially with the Terrifier. Before I go into much deeper detail, if you guys enjoy these type of videos, please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, with all that being said, let's get into it. So the Chi-Yu obviously is the most interesting Pokemon on this team, I think, with the Tera Ground. Starting to see that pop up more to beat opposing Miraidon, as well as just being able to discharge next to your Pokemon. Both the Tornadus and the Chi-Yu are Tera Ground for that purpose, to wall out other Miraidon and let you discharge next to it. We actually have a lot of discharge partners on this team. The Farigiraf is actually Tera Fairy here, but Iron Hands doesn't love taking discharge, but at least is a resist, and URsaluna Blood Moon obviously immune with the ground typing naturally. So very good synergy there. Also, the many special type attackers on this team benefit from the Beads of Ruin a fair bit. And beyond that, it's just a very offensive Chi-Yu. There's no Dark Pulse here, so if you run up against a Calyrex Shadow Rider for some reason with Wide Guard support, you do have to lock in a Snarl or Overheat if they have Wide Guard on the field to hit that for a lot of damage, which is kind of interesting. But beyond that, I do like the Chi-Yu with the Choice Scarf, very proactive, which in addition with the Miraidon is just a very threatening lead if your opponent doesn't have Wide Guard. Moving to the Miraidon, it is fairly standard at this point, the modest 252 set. You could run a bit of Bolt given you have Tailwind, but I feel like just running max speed so you're not losing any speed ties to other modest Miraidon. You could go Timid, but then you're starting to miss out on some Draco Meteor calcs as well as some Volt Switch calcs. So I like modest a bit better, and given you have a Trick Room mode anyways and a Focus Sash Tailwind setter, you also have Fake Out on the Iron Hands. I think it does make sense to just stay modest here and take those crazy modest choice specs, Hadron Engine, Tera Electric, Volt Switch KOs on things like Incineroar, Fluttermane, etc. To round out the rest of the Tailwind core, we have that Tera Ground Tornadus with Focus Sash, so you don't even have to Tera Ground, you can just discharge into your Focus Sash if you want to, but generally going Tailwind, Volt Switch on the Miraidon is a pretty consistent turn 1. Going with the Bleak Wind in subsequent turns, you can also taunt things like Amoonguss, which I guess if you're playing against a Rillaboom plus Amoonguss, they can fairly safely get the grassy terrain on the field and spore any of your Pokemon. That is, if you're not threatening knockouts with the Miraidon, Chi-Yu. Iron Hands has Ice Punch for that, Blood Moon, URsaluna. There's a lot of tools for Amoonguss, but having Taunt for things like Trick Room and Amoonguss as a redundancy in case you get out of position is definitely very appreciated. Last move on the set is going to be Protect, and that's really just similar for Protect, Whimsicott, and Focus Sash. You set up your Tailwind, they have to bring you to Focus Sash. Oftentimes you'll either be taking a KO with Miraidon, or they kind of have to focus that slot a little bit. So you go down to Sash, you Protect, you switch out. If you come back on this field, for some reason they took a knockout on your switch in, you do just get to Protect, and then Tailwind's over, you set it up again, and then go into the rest of the game, having played under 8 turns of Tailwind by the end of the game, so that's really valuable. And what Protect can let you set up pretty consistently. For the URsaluna Blood Moon, we're actually running a bit of speed. We're not running min speed just because you might want to be outspeeding something like a Calyrex that's min speed out of Trick Room. This team can function in or out of it, but against other Trick Rooms, you probably are more favored going out of it. We're also hitting 77 speed, which is going to allow us to actually outspeed something like an Adamant Urshifu out in Tailwind, as well as, I believe Modest Chi-Yu will also be outspeeding because we're going to hit 154 and they hit 152 max. So that's a good speed stat to be hitting for us, while still being very functional in Trick Room, still going to be underspeeding Incineroar and things like that. And then moving into the Farigiraf, I'm actually running at 76 speed stat, and that's to underspeed the URsaluna by 1 point and be able to Psyshock or Foul Play into a Terapagos in Terra Shell form, break its shell, and then be able to follow up with a Blood Moon or a Hyper Voice or Earth Power, whatever we need to do there to take that knockout. If they are choice specs, if they haven't had Calm Minds up, that can be valuable. And we're also still hitting a stat that will outspeed Adamant Urshifu in Trick Room, which can be valuable to get a Psyshock off. So mess around with these speeds to your discretion. I'm kind of just guesstimating based on what I expect could be common if we go into Tailwind or Trick Room. But yeah, outside of that, it is the Electric Seed, one that synergizes really well with Electric Surge, Miraidon, Psyshock, really good into things like Amoonguss, other fighting type Pokemon, Assault Vest Pokemon. Foul Play, excellent into both Calyrex forms. With the Electric Seed, you're really doing well into opposing Calyrex Ice, which can otherwise be a bit of an issue for Miraidon in some circumstances. And then Trick Room, obviously, to get that up for the Iron Hands and Blood Moon, or reverse it if you're going for the faster mode. And then Helping Hand, really excellent with all the really potent attackers on this team. And then Armor Tail, of course, stopping Fake Out, simplifying some games for your Miraidon, not having to deal with a Fake Out Incineroar turn 1, just switching into the Farigiraf and taking a knockout on that slot. And then you have Farigiraf, Iron Hands on the field, potentially, and you can go Fake Out Trick Room after taking a knockout. So lots of cool pivoting ability on this team. Excited to take it on the ladder. If you guys want to try it for yourself, of course, once again, we have it in the description with the EV spreads. And yeah, with all that being said, let's hop into the battles now. Okay, and we're up against a pretty similar team, Miraidon here. So, yep. Another Miraidon team, they're Dragon Pulse, not Draco, interesting. Hyper Voice, Foul Play, also interesting. And then beyond that, pretty standard sets. I think Chi-Yu is a bit of an advantage here for us. They are the water one, so we could almost just go for Chi-Yu Miraidon right off the bat, which I kind of want to do. We don't have a great switch in for Draco if they go Tailwind Draco, so got to be conscious of that, of course. Let's go offensive here. They can Dragon Pulse us, which is sketch. Very sketch. Okay. I don't really want to opt into the speed tie, but we can see what they want to do. I need to switch in for Drain Punch. I actually like Iron Hands a bit here offensively, and then probably has to be Miraidon. So they lead very offensively, but we can always just go for a... Does Choice Specs Dragon Pulse knock us out? Maybe, maybe not. We outspeed them. We can go for Bleak Wind and force that, though, which feels good. Okay, we go for that right away and knock it out. And we'll get a Bleak Wind off first and knock them out. Okay, that's a pretty good first game. I'll take that for sure. And the next one, do we do the same thing? I feel like their lead didn't do well against us at all. It forced them into a weird spot where they had to Dragon Pulse, which is like not ideal because then I get in my offensive Pokemon. I might go Trick Room here. I could see that being effective as a switch up. Like Fake Out Trick Room would be neat. Yeah, I could see myself going that. I'm going to try that. Just switch it up on them. Take advantage of this team's really potent option to do that. I'm going to go Trick Room in the back as well. And then Chi-Yu's tempting in case things go wrong. And yeah, that's very tempting. But Water Terror is a bit annoying on their end as well. So let's just go back Chi-Yu. Okay, fair enough. All right. We don't activate Quark Drive, unfortunately. We have Psyshock into them, which is cool. Wonder if they live Helping Hand close combat. I doubt it. But we should probably just take some damage on the Farigiraf. We can Psyshock. They're doing way less damage to us than we are to them, I think. So I want to go for a Ice Punch Psyshock. Oh, when we catch them right on. That's the added benefit of not going for CC. We're just going to knock them out with Ice Punch on switch, I think. Everyone gets boosted, and Miraidon is actually way tankier than I expect, but they still take a Psyshock, so that's good. Now they have to lock Dragon Pulse, which I am okay with, I think. Because I should just be able to lock in my URsaluna. Them being min speed would be bad. And we didn't confirm their speed stat. I want to go for close combat Psyshock, just get some damage off. They're Volt Switching, taking the KO. We're going to get a close combat, but yeah, that's not ideal. We confirm we're going to outspeed them though, so that's cool. Hyper Voice might do some damage, but I think we should just be able to Go for Earth Power. I could just switch, yeah. I think I'm going to go for that. Bring the Chi-Yu in. And Blood Moon the Iron Hands. I feel like that's a knockout with Life Orb, definitely. If I was optimizing a bit more, I would Hyper Voice. Oh, they set up Trick Room. That's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. So they had the same idea as us, except for they executed a little better and actually kept the Farigiraf in and are all min speed on this team. So fortunate for them. We can kind of switch out if we want to, and we have just burned our Blood Moon, so that's not ideal. But we can go for Snarl in the face of this, and they have to Earth Power us, don't they? I think so. I would think so. Yeah, it gets kind of bad. I think they have to Earth Power a little bit. Hyper Voice. Which is bad, obviously. Yeah, I'm just in a bad way here because they can Hyper Voice if they want to with the Tera. Oh, we're actually underspeeding them. That's really important knowledge. They Blood Moon that slot, which is a-okay because now I just outspeed them and get a knockout, which is cool. Yeah, and we won't fold to Hyper Voice, I think. And we should knock them out if we wanted to with... Yeah, being slower Ursa's here, huge. But we could have undersped with our Iron Hands as well, which would have been cool. I think Snarl brings everything in range now, and we just go for Terra Normal Hyper Voice. If we lose a speed tie, unfortunate, but yeah, we get there. Nice, good win there. Good win in basically the mirror. I think the Ogre Pawn makes sense there, but the Torn against the Ogre Pawn is just really excellent. Also seeing the value of the Tera Ground Chi-Yu, even though it's a high commitment, they also would have had to take a Tera Blast on switch in. Not a lot on their team loves taking a Bleak Wind plus a Tera Blast, and the Ogre Pawn would have had to have committed Tera to not fold to that. So interesting battle. I think that really showed off the value of the Chi-Yu mode, as well as the kind of mixed speed option of the Trick Room. Even though our opponent also had that, they opted for a bit faster on a Blood Moon, whereas we mixed up our speeds a bit more and benefit from it. Okay, Porygon Pio, not Pow, Pio. Okay. Looks similar. Got a lot of components to the Tailwind versions of these teams, but they have an Amoonguss and a Raging Bolt. Interesting. Terra Electric as well. So no Terra Fairy is lovely for the Miraidon. No ability to Terrain Reset, also very cool. Choice Scarf Ursh, Terapagos, all comfy. I could see Fluttermane, Terapagos being a good lead for them. But they don't have any blocking, which is kind of ideal. Because I can maybe get Trick Room up. I guess Taunt's an issue, for sure. Taunt could be an issue. I think I'll go Tailwind in an early one. Just make sure I get the speed advantage. I can collapse something with the Volt Switch. And Backmon, what has to be? I like Iron Hands Chi-Yu, honestly. They are fast Urshifu, which is a little dicey. Their Choice Scarf. If they were a Focus Ash or a Mystic Water, I'd be able to outspeed them. But they lead this, which is interesting. They can clear terrain. Ooh, I actually like that. So this team is pretty weak to that, but what I can go for is still a Taunt plus Volt Switch on the Terapagos, as they maybe try and hit me with a debuff. I think I'm maybe going to Volt Switch. Yeah, I'm going to Volt Switch the Terapagos in case they go for that. Just get the damage off. I don't foresee the Tera being useful, and yeah, that's why I went for the Tera Volt Switch, just because it does so much damage. So this could be Earth Power, could be a lot of things. I think I'm just going to go into the Chi-Yu and threaten a Heat Wave Bleak Wind next turn. That knocks out. Never mind. Fair enough. I'm threatening Fake Out now, but they're threatening Redirection. Tricky. They can also Pollen Puff, which is not ideal. I can just Discharge, right? I think Bleak Wind Discharge should be good. And I'm pretty sure that knocks out no matter what. So as long as we don't get paralyzed, we're golden. But I guess Raging Bolt kind of likes taking that. But they protected Amoonguss, so feels pretty free. Yep, they go for that. but they're going to lose their Flutter Mane in the process when you do not get paralyzed. That's very good. They can Thunderclap us now. Yeah. I think they'll still fall to a Discharge though, even out of terrain. But everything's opened up to a Draco KO, worth noting. So, no reason to Tailwind at any point this game, I think. Unless I want to get a Fake Out lock going. I honestly didn't expect the Terra Starstorm to knock out the Chi-Yu on switch. Interesting. We got Amoonguss out. I like Taunt into that. Oh, I don't even have to. I can Protect switch. If I see fit, which I think I do, I like Bleak Wind switch. Get some damage on Amoonguss potentially. This is where AV Iron Hands would be pretty cool. They're going to protect, fair enough, and they Snarl. A-okay with me, bud. Clear Amulet protects me, and I now have Fake Out Draco if I want it. Do I want it? Probably not. I can Draco the Amoonguss, take a knockout there. That seems ideal. They get the double. Oh, that is really unfortunate. Really, really, really unfortunate. I mean, I guess I can still Draco that, knock it out, Ice Punch. Maybe. Ah, that stinks. Okay. I guess they can Terra defensively. I should probably just Draco this and Ice Punch in the case they switch. Close combat, does that get me anywhere? I don't think so. They Rage Powder, sure. We hit the Draco, it's a knockout, and they actually don't have a knockout on either Pokemon here. They go for webs, which is fine because I'll just hit them with a CC, and I'm pretty sure a Stellar Terra won't knock us out, and well, I guess it's a matter of if Draco KOs them, because they can maybe lock Earth Power. We'll see. Yeah, maybe a Giga Brain Electro Web there, depending on the speed of their Terapagos. They might not be fast enough, but given their Electro Web on the Raging Bolt, they probably should be. Oh, we don't win the game this turn, so they Earth Power, it KOs us, and now it's just a matter of if they knock us out here. Yeah, really well played endgame. They went for a double protect, they got it. That happens. Should have won that otherwise, but hey, it is what it is. That's game one. So what they lead? Were they happy about their lead? They led Amoonguss, and it was kind of annoying for my Torn. Could I just lead Heat Wave, Discharge? I think so. The only issue is if they lead Flutter in response to that. Am I conditioned against that sufficiently? I think I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go for it again, but maybe Bleak Wind this time. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't Bleak Wind Volt Switch the Amoonguss turn one. I guess it was for the Protect. And the Terra Starstorm probably KOing us, but I feel pretty comfortable about going for that again. And I think I will. Fake Out Pressure was really good. I'm going to keep that. I feel comfortable with that game plan. I think it was fine. Maybe instead of switching in the Chi-Yu, I bring in the Iron Hands to take the Starstorm, but I'm not sure. Amoonguss once again. Yeah, I'm going to run that back. If they want to take the sleep, they can. Okay. If we hit the Bleak Wind, we're going to do a lot of damage to both. Oh, I guess I'm... Do I take a Starstorm? The damage shouldn't really matter. I have a decent chance to live this. I'm going to go Iron Hands. Switch that up on them. We'll see how much the Bleak Wind would do. It would have actually knocked out the Terapagos, which would have been cool. And we tanked that hit. And they Pollen Buff. That's fine, because I can again go for the same play. And actually... I don't have to, because I can close combat their Terapagos on a switch into something, which I like, but I can just Fake Out it too. With Focus Sash, that's pretty tempting. Yeah, I'm going to go Bleak Wind though. Protect's just so obvious. I'm going to go for a Bleak Wind close combat. Oh, the damage is just so major, man. I should probably just take the knockout. Yeah, if they don't Rage Powder, we'll get them. But this is more accurate. Yep, they knocked the Terapagos. They knocked me down on damage, but at least I can bring in the Miraidon now. I can also go for a Tera Ground if I want to. Snarl. Snarl could be okay. I can Volt Switch that slot pretty freely, the Terapagos. I think I will do that. Can also Draco, if I think I can beat their last Pokemon, but it's what? Most likely Flutter, which could be tricky. So I think I just Volt Switch the Terapagos and Bleak Wind, I think. Yeah, that feels pretty correct. Flutter main out, that's a KO, and we actually get a Bleak Wind off on them, which is cool. Nice, they go for Snarl, which is fine, because I'm still pretty sure we'll win. I should be able to Draco the Raging Bolt for a knockout. Do I need to, though, or can I just win with Snarl? They have to... I think I just go Electric Drift lock, because I knock out the Terapagos and I can lock into Snarl here. And maybe Terapagos... Maybe Snarl isn't right. Snarl's probably right, though. I don't want to risk a Draco miss here. Yeah, Draco doesn't KO me, and we're going to do a lot of damage these subsequent turns, even like with 100% accurate Electro Drift, which is the main thing. Yeah, we get him close enough where even the Draco doesn't knock out, and we go into game 3. Feel pretty good about that. I don't think the Amoonguss lead is that threatening in retrospect, and we can also confirm we have a knockout onto their Terapagos with the Bleak Wind. The only question is, do we switch up to a Trick Room option? Because they haven't brought their Chi-Yu, and they have not brought the Scarf Urshifu yet. Do I think that's particularly effective against me? Not really. I feel like this is the correct pair, and we can go for a knockout this time. They can Terrastalize, but I'm pretty sure they'll get knocked out regardless. I think a cool play from them is actually Spore my Torn. If we hit this, we're pretty much chilling, though. Okay, Raging Bolt out. We're going to go Chi-Yu here. Yeah, they put me asleep, but at what cost? Now I can Snarl you and go into my Iron Hands, I'm pretty sure. Or Burn a Sleep turn, that's also an option. But the Snarl is really effective for us here, I think. They could Electroweb, make it dicey. We went for the Tera there, which does a lot to the Raging Bolt. I could also Heat Wave, which is threatening on switch in. Terapagos didn't take any damage there. I could Burn a Sleep turn, but I think I'm going to go Iron Hands, keep the pressure up, and go for a Snarl. They can Tera Electric, which probably shouldn't matter. They're switching in Flutter Mane, fair enough. And they don't Thunderclap, which I feel like might have been a mistake just on damage. But we do need to knock out this Flutter somehow. Ooh, that's really good. I feel like Moonblast won't KO us. But we can fake out that and Snarl if we want. Amoonguss will tank it, but we'll also get a Snarl on their Flutter, which is good. Break their Terapagos' lock, which is cool. The Raging Bolt's damage is just really unimpressive at this point, so I kind of want to go for a Snarl Ice Punch. If Amoonguss switches in, I think it's getting 2-hit KO'd by Snarl. They could protect, go for a Thunderbolt or something. Thunderclap, rather. But I kind of want to get this Flutter Mane with some damage. They're going to protect it, probably timed out. They Draco for a lot, but we Snarl them. At this point, they might knock me out, but do I care that much? I think not really. I can just keep going for the Snarls a little bit more, and they're out on the Raging Bolt. Maybe I just preserve the Iron Hands. I think I will try and do that, because the Torn isn't especially valuable for me here. Yeah, they Moonblast that. Fair enough, but their Raging Bolt is doing very little damage. They have to Snarl here. Oh, they Electroweb. Yeah, I think that was a misplay, because now I can just maybe even sack the Torn. Then go for a Snarl. They're going to Icy Wind me to try and outspeed with the Terapagos, I think. So, what then? I'll knock out their Flutter if I hit. So I think it's actually out to Iron Hands so that I can maybe get the Flutter Mane in for free, or at least get Fake Out on the board. So I'm going to go for that. I think not going for a Snarl was a mistake. Amoonguss out on the field. Cool, because we didn't take that. They actually didn't let me knock them out, which is interesting. But now we have Iron Hands. I'm pretty sure we live a hit and can go for a... either knocks out, but... they can Icy Wind, they can Moonblast. I don't think it'll knock out Iron Hands at this point. I don't want to risk the Amoonguss roll necessarily. I probably just CC or like Ice Punch this. Everything's in range for Discharge as soon as I break the Terra Shell, I think. So it's just a matter of not losing to that. I think I switch out here. Yeah, they switch into Terapagos, which is kind of interesting. We don't lose the Iron Hands and we get the Intimidate. Or yeah, we crit them, but we get this on the field, which is good. Because now we might be at the point where we can just hit Volt Switch. Draco might KO the Terapagos with the terrain, but Amoonguss can come in. So do I stop the Amoonguss at all? I don't think so. I think I just set... Sorry, some noise in the background there. I could go Amoonguss here, but I think it's maybe time to do some damage. I'll just start Volt Switching around. Yeah, that's going to be... Like, they can get a Spore off here, but at the cost probably of their whole Terapagos or their Amoonguss. And if they leave the Terapagos in, I'm getting a Snarl off. I think I'm getting a Snarl Volt Switch if I hit on... Like, and just a knockout this turn, straight up. I don't think Amoonguss will be able to take both the Snarl and the electric Volt Switch, even if they get rid of terrain here. And the damage output they're giving is just like very minimal, switching in on the Snarl. Snarl Chi-Yu is just very, very menacing, especially when it's Choice Scarf, very hard to get off the field. Especially with so many special attackers. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they never brought the Urshifu, which made things very, very lovable for the Chi-Yu. Yep, they go for the Terra, trying to live a hit. Volt Switch, they might live. It's possible. They protect the Amoonguss, didn't go for that. Oh, that's big damage. And out into the Iron Hands we go. And Snarl does just take the knockout. So that'll probably be GG since I could fake out around there. Yeah, that'll be GG because I can fake out Raging Bolt and switch into the Miraidon. Get rid of any Spore potential. They'd have to live the fake out, which I don't think they would. And even if they did, we can kind of just like Volt Switch for the rest of the day. So good game to them. They were able to win the first one off of a double protect, but I think we were smart to stick to our game plan, adjusted a little bit in our switch-ins, also realizing that honestly Bleak Wind Discharge was pretty safe if we wanted to go for it, and they didn't have a lot of counterplay around that. But even safer was Volt Switch Bleak Wind, given we saw how much damage we do to their Terapagos. That would almost always knock them out with the Beads of Ruin Bleak Wind, and if we hit both, then the best they can do is like sacrifice most of their Amoonguss, which proved to be really difficult in the game 3 because they just didn't have the ammo in the late game to be able to handle the Miraidon. So I feel like that was a well-played execution of just like locking your opponent down. Even if they have a switch into the Volt Switch, they still have to take damage from the rest of your team, which is something that kind of differentiates this team from Rajan's, is this team has a lot more juice off the bat with the Chi-Yu, the Torn, the Quark Drive Iron Hands. It's just a lot of firepower that your opponent has to deal with, even if they can deal with a Miraidon. Okay, up against Koraidon. This looks like pretty close to Luca Tregute's team from that Indianapolis regional that he got top 16 with. U-turn Koraidon. I actually like seeing that more so. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I like that more than seeing Flame Charge, because Flame Charge can be kind of annoying for Trick Room teams, or Tailwind teams. Speaking of Trick Room, do we go into it here? I can see it. Throat Chop, Qian Pao makes it a little harder though. Rage Powder. I actually don't really love seeing the Blursa here, so I might actually bust that out this game. They don't have really anything for Fake Out plus Farigiraf, I think. So I might go for that. And Miraidon in the back for some terrain, right? It should probably just be Miraidon, Ursa. Are they Taunt Flutter? They're Choice Specs. Okay. That would make things kind of hard with if they're the attack boosting one, but I kind of want to, you know what, let's gauge game 1. Let's play the Tailwind mode because I think it's pretty potent. The only thing they have a switch, they don't have a great switch in for the Volt Switch outside of the Raging Bolt, which is admittedly pretty good, but in the end, I think we can kind of just go with the consistent options on this team, the Iron Hands plus the Chi-Yu in the fast mode, and then we'll see what they lead. If they led the Flutter Mane, oh, this would have been so free with the Volt Switch. Okay, regardless, we can probably just Bleak Wind Tera. I'm tempted to just like, oh, they're Ice Spinner. Okay, that's annoying for sure. But I think I can probably still go Bleak Wind Tera Dark and knock them out. Are they Stellar Terra? Oh, they are. So they can Sucker Punch me at some point, which is dicey. I think I like Taunt Volt Switch though, still. Yeah, I think we'll go for this just because if they get rid of the terrain, so they'll be able to Spore my Switch in, but I'll take their Chien-Pao if they do, which I think is good. Let's get Fake Out Pressure on the board. If we hit the Bleak Wind, their Chien-Pao is gone, and they probably... not getting Tailwind here is kind of bad. Taunting Amoonguss would have been good. Can we knock them out with a Beads of Ruin hit here? Let's gamble on that. We double hit, and Amoonguss dodges. Oh, they get the Chi-Yu. Man, okay. Not great. Not the worst, though. Koraidon, we can kind of just protect on that. Or Tailwind. They're probably U-turning here, but then they give me a free hit. I don't love this, but it's fine. Bleak Wind, Heat Wave. This is U-turn into this, I want to say. Maybe I just go Tailwind, Heat Wave, truthfully. Or switch into the Iron Hands. I don't think I'll outspeed them. Okay, they go Raging Bolt, so Bleak Wind wouldn't have been that effective anyways, and they're Terra Firing, which is pretty good. They Collision Course, that's fine. Miraidon should have Draco into that now, and they kind of have to make a read a little bit. Not that much. I could Discharge to get around Rage Powder, but I should probably just go for Bleak Wind plus a Draco into you. Guarantee that KO. They're kind of caught in a weird spot, right? Or if I Draco this Koraidon, I can win, but I might just win if I get a Bleak Wind drop, so I'm going to go for that. I really want to Draco the Koraidon. They can protect, let this go down, get in there. Let's just attack the Raging Bolt. Yeah, they protect Koraidon, so that would have been the wrong play, which is cool. We get that off, and now I believe we can just Bleak Wind Draco the Koraidon, and that should KO. And they have to Rage Powder that away. If they're max speed, what should we do? I could switch out in the Iron Hands. We miss. Oh my goodness. Okay, that stinks. That's so unfortunate. Yeah, that might not have knocked out, but it would have gotten pretty close. So that's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. We have a couple more turns of Quark Drive. They have one more turn of Sun, but we can't protect, which is bad. But this is probably just fake out Bleak Wind and hope I hit. Since we should just hit their Amoonguss and knock it out. Yep. Ooh, they outspeed. I think we'd probably go Tailwind to outspeed the Koraidon. Can I live a Flare Blitz in Sun from the Koraidon? Surely not. On Iron Hands. Yeah, this is where missing earlier in the game comes in kind of annoying on the Amoonguss, but Flare Blitz in Sun from Terra Fire. Adamant. Versus in Iron Hands. I'm a 4 HP, so I probably go down if they're Adamant, but if they're Jolly, they don't get me. So I think this is probably Tailwind Ice Punch and hope that I can live here, I want to say. They're going to Rage Powder. We're going to get the Tailwind up. Ooh, they Flare Blitz that. Fair enough. And now we just figure out... Oh, they burn their Sun. Now they don't have Oracle Compulse. That was a mistake. Yeah. So that probably would have come down to You know, I think I actually misplayed this endgame because if I double hit my Bleak Wind, I have to imagine if they go for Flare Blitz, they knock themselves out from doing what? 1/3 of 230, like 70 HP. Surely that brings them in Bleak Wind range. So that was a mistake. Now we just go for close combat. Yep, they're burning the terrain, but we still go for close combat. I think, how bulky could they be? Close combat should KO from 236. Very low chance to. They probably have to get a burn. Let's bank that. They collision course, expecting me to close combat and bring myself in range, but unfortunately they do not have the juice. We confirm they are at least 170 speed, but we could, while we're playing, might as well get the collision course roll. We're like 4 HP, 4 defense. So collision course did how much? 39? 37? So that actually confirms to me they're jolly, which is good to know. It means they'll outspeed me in the next game if they want to go for that. So what they bring here, they didn't bring in Incineroar. They brought not even Fluttermane. They brought Raging Bolt. Yeah, this feels like a Trick Room angle if I have ever seen it. I'm going to go for that. Just bust it out. Miraidon in the back. Seems solid. Throat Chop's annoying, but I can fake them out, which is cool. They can always Ice Spinner me, though. Amogus Shenpao is kind of a cool lead from them, but I think I'm going to go Iron Hands, Farigiraf, Miraidon, and then last Mon. Can I sweep them easily enough with the Iron Hands? Blursa? Let's go for that. Okay, they lead that. That's going to be very threatening, but we should still tank a hit, I think. Flare Blitz. U-turn might do a lot. We might live the Koraidon hit. It's going to be close. On the Farigiraf, we're on max defense. Surely we live. Max defense bold versus Flare Blitz. Terra Fire. Doesn't knock us out if they're jolly. Unless they super max roll. I'm going to go fake out Trick Room. I think they're probably U-turning. I could Terra Fire. That'd be cute. Should I go for that? No, because I think if they go for that, then I have URsaluna in the back, which is good. Yep, we get the fake out. That's valuable chip. And they collision course. Very nice. I didn't Terra, so I can Psyshock into you or Foul Play, but I think a close combat Psyshock should knock out. Well, I don't have Quark Drive up, so I probably don't. Let's split our damage here, just get it in range of Hyper Voice. I'm going to go close combat into you. Ice Punch probably covers everything. Among Us switching in would be annoying. I don't want that just yet, so I'm going to go for this. Maximizing my damage. Yeah. Weather Ball, big damage, and they knock me out. So U-turn, good play. But I think Blursa comes out now. And if they go Among Us, A-okay with me, because I have Miraidon in the back. One issue is if the Raging Bolt can live this hit, which is definitely possible. Should have gone close combat. That would have done a bit more damage here and chipped them in range, unfortunately. Raging Bolt. Yeah, that was a mistake. I could have just won this game with Hyper Voice in that instance, but it is what it is. Didn't go for it. Yeah, 40's pushing it on a knockout. I probably don't, actually. Especially when they can go for a Pollen Puff or something. Will they knock me out with the boost? Probably. Am I going to fold here to the Draco? Most likely. Will they Terra here? Maybe. I have a chance to knock them out. I have a decent chance. So I think I'll make that play. I am up a game. I'll risk the roll. I think it's in my favor. They Rage Powder, so we couldn't have gone for a single target, and they do live. That stinks. Okay. They don't knock out, but they can Pollen Puff us for a KO, I believe. Draco would have KO'd us. Electric Terrain. Pollen Puff should KO us, which is bad news, obviously. Yikes. Okay. And they can self-Pollen Puff if they want to. They Thunderclap. Yeah, makes sense. And that will probably be the first game. Yeah, if I had close combat, we won. Yeah, That was really short-sighted. I was thinking maybe Amoonguss comes in, but if they do, like I don't take any damage, so that was a mistake. Okay, I think the game plan was good, but the execution was very flawed. But the question is, now that they know it, what are they going to do? The Raging Bolt was still kind of an issue. So what I can do is lead this, get the train on the field immediately, go Farigiraf, Iron Hands, Blood Moon. I don't know if I have to. I don't have to play this that honest is the thing. If I don't want to, because I can lock Tera Ground later and do pretty well against them for the most part. So do we want to do that? It's tempting. Amoonguss Farigiraf would be very difficult to deal with. Amoonguss Qianpao if we lead Miraidon Farigiraf, which is why I did in the first game. I think what I'll do is I'll run it back. Yeah, I might preserve the Tera on the Chiyu though, and try and close that way. Yeah, they bring that back. Makes sense. I think I will go for a taunt. Tera Volt Switch. There's Sludge Bomb. Not Pollen Puff. Oh, I was playing around Pollen Puff a lot. I don't have to. Do not have to do that. So let's just do that. They have to Tera Dark, which really, I think, loosens them up this game. Does it? Do they even need to Tera Fire? I don't think so. Yeah, they don't Tera here, which is fine. We're going to go for the taunt. They go for Ice Spinner, but now we get Chiyu in for free, and we get a big Heat Wave off. Yep, and I guess they can try to tank that with Tera, which is annoying. But if they do that, then I can go for Scarf, Heat Wave, and then not even worry. So I think this is probably a double KO. Or at least I get in terrain. I'm going to preserve the Tornadus because I think Tailwind could be valuable. And I don't need to risk the Taunt War here. They switch out into Raging Bolt, so it would have been a little more effective to go for something else, but that's fine. Yep, there's the Tera. Probably going for a Spore here. We missed the Bolt, but it is what it is. Yeah, there's the Spore. Awesome. So, unfortunately not a KO, but we could Draco. Volt Switch is probably best. Yeah, just Volt Switch Heat Wave. No way to protect. And they can't do a lot of damage with that. Okay, sure, that's fine. They're going to take a lot from the Volt Switch. Thunderbolt, they're getting me... Oh, love to see that. I'll take that for the miss. And who are we going for here? Probably Torn, maybe not Torn. We can hit another Heat Wave, so I think I'm going to go into the Iron Hands because we can apply Fake Out Pressure to the Bolt the next turn. Weather Ball into the Iron Hands does a lot, but like I said, another Fake Out is good. And we're getting very close to just being able to clean up the game with Volt Switch. Sucker Punch Qianpao, gotta watch out for. So, yeah. I'm doing a lot to their Raging Bolt. They're in one more Heat Wave range. But I think I could lose to Qianpao if I'm not careful, but I think I probably win with Bleak Wind. Just have to get sufficient damage off. Yeah, it's going to bring them in range of another Heat Wave. But they might be able to net a double KO. They Collision Course the Chiyu, fair enough. They take a knockout, but now we get Miraidon in. We're Torn. I think we Protect, actually. I bring in Torn. I can go for Tailwind plus... Getting Sucker Punched in would be bad for me. Yeah, I could Bleak Wind. I don't think that's right. It's probably just Tailwind attack. Hope I tank a hit. But I shouldn't. That's the thing. I don't know why I expected Chiyu to live that. That was a bad joke. Because now I will just fold to a Flare Blitz here. But they have to make a read. So maybe I go for... No, I don't switch. That'd be stupid. I might go Tailwind. Hope I live a Thunderclap. They have Terad. I wouldn't live a Sucker Punch, right? And then they just get Thunderclaps off and I lose. So I think I probably just go for Bleak Wind attack here. Feels bad. Maybe I switch. Take a collision course, take an attack. I'm going to switch and go for Bleak Wind. I think it might be my only out, because I'm going to lose to a Sucker Punch regardless. Yep, they Thunderclap that slot, which is interesting, and they Flare Bliss themselves for a KO. I missed the Bleak Wind, but that's kind of annoying, because then I would maybe just win with Bleak Wind late game. But I'll have Fake Out pressure to close, so probably not. Should still be fine. This might come down to a double protect on their side. Among Us will come in at 90. It's kind of dicey. I could Discharge, or I could Protect. I just Protect, right? Go Discharge, Protect, Fake Out in a turn. I haven't protected last turn, so the Bleak Wind miss is annoying, but not game ending, I think. Because I should... Wait. Discharge, Bleak Wind, bring in Chien-Pao, Fake Out. I should win. I think if I hit a Bleak Wind here, I win. They Thunderclap, they go for Ice Spinner. If we hit the Bleak Wind, we should win. Okay, we double hit. Now we get Fake Out into you, and that should be GG. They can Spore me, but I think we'll get there. Fake Out, Bleak Wind. I don't think Sludge... They might have to Sludge Bomb cheese me out a bit, but it's definitely very close. Definitely very close. We should have it with Fake Out. The sufficient damage we need. But yeah, they definitely made it tough on us here. We had to get a burn, and I think that game... Really, I shouldn't have lost that game. Second game, that was just a huge misplay on my part, not going for close combat into the Raging Bolt. That's me not knowing my roles, essentially. Because I thought Ice Punch would do way more. So we get the Fake Out, and we'll see. We hit the Bleak Wind, that's 1. Their Citrus, they might live 2. I guess they can't Sludge Bomb poison me is the bright side. We missed that. We lived that. Yeah, we just have to hit our Bleak Winds. First turn Wake would be ideal too. Oh, we do first turn Wake. Nice. Okay, yeah. Good game to them. Very close. I think they played the game 3 better for sure, but yeah, I think we definitely had matchup in game 2. I just played the URsaluna. I played into the URsaluna incorrectly. That should have been a clean Hyper Voice sweep, but I let them live a little bit too much on the Raging Bolt that turn. So that will do it for our battles today, featuring Frederik Nielsen's top 8 team at the Stockholm Regional. Very cool team with both a fast mode with a really awesome Choice Scarf, Tera Ground Chi-Yu with a slow mode with Iron Hands. If you guys enjoyed these videos, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to use the team, I have the Poke Paste in the description below with all the EV spreads. Hope you guys enjoy these videos, and peace, y'all.